Fantasy managers, welcome to the FPL Addicts Game Week 10 preview podcast, powered, of course, by Esports Live and sponsored by the wonderful people at Bonus Bank. Of course, this is our preview for Game Week 10. We've got a full Game Week players every week, which includes the Guru's team selection, this preview pod, the Guru's Scout 11, as well as hot tips. So there's so much great content with views and opinions from us all, so you don't want to be missing that. If you're enjoying our content, make sure to give our video a like, as well as subscribing and turn the notification bell on. If you're listening on Apple, do leave us a review, please. It really does help us out to spread the word, to spread awareness. So that would be brilliant if you could do that for us. Of course, the Guru raised the bat in FPL this week, which we'll get onto in a bit. We're also trying to get him to 100 subscribers here on YouTube. We're currently one away from that milestone. So if you could help us out with that, that would be absolutely remarkable. Now, as I mentioned, this podcast is sponsored by the wonderful people at Bonus Bank, so a big thank you to them. If you've not tried it already, the platform is free to join. But if you do want to unlock special features and go premium, make sure to use the code FPL Addicts to use a 25% discount on your first month's membership, and there is no lock-in contract. It's Australia and New Zealand's fastest growing side hustle where you can take advantage of bookmaker promotions, so make sure you get on it. The link in the caption is there for details. So, of course, we're back with our wonderful panel. Obviously, I've stepped in for Elliot, who said he can't make it tonight. He's too busy rewatching that Callum Wilson goal. So he is absent. I've stepped in his absence, but all the other usuals are here. And also Statman Dave, of course, isn't. So, bit of a shorter panel, but star-studded nonetheless. We'll start with a man who, like Manchester United, we've got no intentions of sacking this manager. It's Jack Gillibrand from Esports Live. How you doing, mate?
I was going to say very good then, but yeah, probably not. I've had a couple of days to... try and get my head together after that head loss. But yeah, slowly coming back around. Despite the United result, FPL was a good game week.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk about that. Well, I mean, we will have to in a bit, but we'll try and get your mind off that for as long as possible.
As little as possible, Ollie, would be brilliant.
In that case, we're going to move on to Chris Reed, who's obviously on the other side of the coin, who's obviously buzzing with the result on Sunday. So we'll let him get his banter out of the way. How you doing, Reedy?
I'm good, Ollie. Soaking it in, baby. Soaking it in. What more is there to say than Liverpool 5-0, Mo Salah just turning it up, FPL, brilliant. So I'm going well into the next game week 10. I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to Liverpool playing again.
Yeah, of course, as you would be. They're on really good form at the moment. Mo Salah is the best player in the world. Jurgen Klopp is probably the best manager in the world. And our Jurgen Klopp is Matt Day, the Guru from FPL Addicts. How you doing, my mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Ollie. Obviously, unbelievable week of FPL. Some massive scores. Triple digits for some of us on this podcast, not all. But yeah, can't wait for game week 10. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, it will be. But before we get there, of course, we do have to review game week 9. So we'll do that in just a moment. We've obviously got all the leagues to look over, but we're going to start off with the quick look at the results, of course, from Game Week 9 in terms of a football sense. The first game, Jack, I'm going to go over to you. You've got the pick of the board. What do you reckon, mate?
Oh, the game for me was that Watford-Everton game.
Crazy, wasn't it?
I've got to avoid this Man United game, haven't I? So Everton-Watford, goals galore. Everton going 2-1 up, and the comeback from Watford was just ridiculous. And obviously taking the win. Goals goal rush here was going crazy, wasn't it? So there was some good assets in there. Didn't see that after Ranieri's loss last week. Obviously they conceded 5 and they've hit 5 back this week. Everton just seems to be all over the place. So, you can't even look at any Everton assets really, to be fair. Watford are, definitely a lot of cheap enablers in there. So from an FPL sense, a couple of good ones to look at. Josh King with that hat-trick. Really interesting and very intriguing.
Yeah, I was on the Rovers watch along, and when there was ever a breaking play, I was just checking the Premier League scores, and that was one that just grabbed my attention. Just Watford just bagging the goals in. I'm like, what's going on at Goodison? It was a bit mental to watch, but
one of many things that you don't expect to see. Sorry, mate.
No. Any assets there from Watford that you might consider?
Yeah, I think like Josh King, as a striker, I think strikers are few and far between at the moment. There's a lot of injuries in FPL as well, a lot of flags over players. So yeah, he's cheap. I think he's like maybe 5.5, 5.6 is he for Josh King? Maybe probably a bit less actually. But the likes of Dennis, but I think he's injured now. Cucho, possibly another player to look at. from an attacking sense. Midfielders probably not too keen, and defensive assets not too keen either. Definitely don't want Ben Foster in there.
Well, I mean, you can have him on your bench. I've still got him on his bench. I was
Yeah,
going
you
to
can stay
bring
on
in
the bench.
David Raya, but of course he's injured, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But a great win for Watford away from home, and maybe it could help kickstart their season. Reedy, we're going to move on to you next. You know, no idea which game you're going to pick.
Just Cloud9, innit? 5-0 against
Chelsea
United. Yeah, could be. But yeah, no. Old Trafford. What a way to silence a crowd. 4-0 in their backyard at half time. Your resident man there, Jack Gillibrand, was in bed at half time, crying into his pillow. No, he wasn't. But
No,
it was
very
just
similar.
Yeah, you know what? I can imagine that. I can't imagine, grown man crying. You love your football club at the end of the day. There's probably a few tears shed. But in that case, what a game to just watch, even as a neutral. And you're seeing that sort of type of football being played, albeit United were under par, very under par, so disjointed. But Liverpool just took advantage of that. We just capitalised on that. And some of the football was great to watch. Naby Keita was actually fantastic with some of his play. And Mo Salah just, we all love how much he's getting those goals and how much he's after that record, breaking Jamie Vardy's record. And, and giving us the points of fancy first and foremost, well, most importantly, should I say.
Well, I mean, I was just saying, I saw on Monday morning, I think it was, I saw Jack posted the lineup for the United game, so now let's go, and it'd been 12 hours before he'd updated his socials again. I was just like, where's he gone? Is he all right, kind of thing? He'd gone missing, he'd gone MIA.
Do you know something? I was meant to delete that because I woke up, right, I had about 20 Instagram DMs of abuse going, everyone couldn't believe I still had it up, or whichever, and I obviously just switched off from football.
Yeah, the first few messages I got from Jack was an emoji fist pump, Canate with the side eyes, no Mane, and then can't believe it. Now, the can't believe it was before the match kicked off, so since then, I got no message after that saying can't believe it. So maybe he was reflecting on it and thinking the exact same words, can't believe it, when he woke up and saw the final score.
Yes,
I woke up on Monday morning and just saw what in the world is going on. Check the goal scorers, Salah hat-trick, and I was absolutely buzzing. But enough about me. Guru, we'll move on to you, mate. You've got the rest of the board. Which game are you picking?
It's got to be the Chelsea-Norwich game, I think. 7-0. What an absolute hammering, and some massive FPL points in this game. I think I heard a stat. I think it was from the True FPL goat Rory in our Discord. He mentioned that every player in that Chelsea team hit, other than that man Kai Havertz, who's obviously caused a lot of controversy in the FPL world this week. And just phenomenal game. The clean sheet points, the Rudiger assist, so much happened in that match. The Hudson-Odoi, 11 points, a Kovacic, and the Mason Mount hat trick with the assist. So it was an incredible game from an FPL point of view with those points.
Yeah, I know we obviously celebrated, didn't we? Obviously on the podcast when Kai Havertz was withdrawn with his EO and whatever it was. So that was unlucky for Kai Havertz owners. But, for those that didn't have him, got off scot-free.
Yeah, completely agree there, mate. And look, we had a bit of a laugh, bit of a celebrate, but it was just, some light-hearted banter from us all. And, we obviously deep down, if Havertz had done well, we would have, we still would have praised all those FPL managers that put him in. And they were unlucky, to have 7 goals and nothing from Havertz this week. So, it's just really bad luck.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a lot of stuff on Twitter, hasn't there? There's been a lot of back and forth about, people abusing other people for going with Havertz. There's definitely ground to go with Kai Havertz. It just wasn't their day. So, to people that go out there and captain someone else other than Salah, fair play for going a differential. It just didn't work this week, but there was definitely ground for it. So those were definitely unlucky. And you're not bad managers if you did decide to go for a different manager. But this week it just didn't quite work out. Onto the league standings then we go. After looking through those results, I mean, the one that stepped out to me results-wise was Manchester City and Brighton with Phil Foden doing Phil Foden things, and I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute. We're going to start with the paid league, and our guest for this week, Donald Breslin, is top of it. Look at that overall rank, 6.3k. That's Tom Stone's type efforts, but Tom Stone's is nowhere to be seen. Donald is now taking the crown right off him, 659 points, including 86 this week. We've got Aaron, who turned up with 100 points. He's in second. And we've got Champions of Europe, Nathan Burgess, who was our guest the other week, still holding a decent rank, just inside the 22k in third. But Jack, there's some good competition there, isn't there?
I think they're in a bit of a league of their own, these guys. Obviously, I think I'm about mid-table in there, but chasing the pack big time. Obviously, we're going to listen to Donald today. Hopefully, he can give away a few secrets into why he's top of our league. Absolutely killing it. I've spoken to Aaron before as well. He's come from Bonus Bank, which is he's been great. Budgie, superb. The points are ridiculous. Some of these boys are getting week in, week out. A special shout out to Oz Spike as well. Simon Reynolds, who's in, we talked about him every now and then. He's doing really well up there after his wildcard week. And obviously, Ali as well, with Vamos Bruno hanging in, as well as Jordy Wilson, who's our guest, I think, game week 4. So, obviously, it's not all bad for him. He's 5th in the league. He's a Newcastle fan, so he's buzzing as well. So, yeah, tough to catch up these lot. Still got to do a bit of chasing. Hoping they drop off at some point so I can get into those winning positions.
Yeah, I know we're giving Tom Stones a bit of banter there, but he is equal 10th, which isn't too bad. Someone that is doing a bit better than him this week, though, is our manager of the week. 128 points for Steve Ward, taking out the prize, 20 Aussie dollars. And Matt, let's just have a look at this team as we scroll down. Points absolutely everywhere you look. What a team.
Unbelievable. I was looking at it this week thinking I've had a good week myself, and I might be on for the prize, but yeah, he's absolutely smashed it. And even better, he's a Spurs fan as well. So, I'm buzzing about that. It's good to see another Spurs fan doing well in FPL, and he's stuck loyal there with Harry Kane as well. So I'll give him some credit, even though Kane's obviously blank. But yeah, great team: Mason Mount, Phil Foden, Reece James, obviously Salah as well. That's just a hell of a quartet there. So yeah, very well played. And Trent as well. Actually, God, Trent with 10 points. Wow. Phenomenal.
Yeah, there you go. Look at everywhere you look, as I say. But Reedy, it's the hat-trick of hat-tricks in midfield, including your man, Mohamed Salah, leading that. That midfield is absolutely unbelievable, despite the injury to Mberma, which, again, I'm sure we'll touch on a bit later.
Yeah, what can you say? The Mason Mount pick, I want to give some praise to, which maybe, it's probably going to get mentioned at some point anyway, but I want to give praise to Matt, to the guru himself, because if you look at his differentials or his tips from last week, the guy mentioned Mount and that he fancied him to deliver, and he did. And I think that's something that Mason Mount has been not guilty of, but maybe his expectation levels have been a little bit higher than what maybe he's delivered or he's been performing last season and thing. And he's been out of favour a little bit for Tuchel, but he came in against Norwich. He owned his role, and yeah, he got the hat trick, and I think an assist as well, was it? So
yeah,
brilliant score, fantastic. Getting the captain right as well. That's what you've got to do when he's a top manager, because he's picking his captain right, which I think not many people are going to shy away from Salah anyway with his current form.
I mean, the same point breakdown as Salah was 3 goals, an assist, and 3 bonus. So perfect week for Wardy, as we say. He gets the $20 prize in Australian dollars, of course. We'll move on to the free league now, and that is also quite hotly contested. If you have a look at the top of that, we've got Joseph Alvarez at the top of that, 674 points already. Not even hit game week 10, 674 points, 3 clear of Billy Brannigan, who's in second on 671. Both are in and around the top 2K in the world. What a top 2 that is. You also got Shane Kelly rounding out the top 3 there, who's just inside 3K as well. But I tell you what, that top 3, you'd be hard pressed to find anything better than that. Maybe in Australia, in an Australian league, I wouldn't reckon, because that is some top 3. And Jack, how does it feel? Jack and Matt, to the pair of you. Obviously, we started off this journey at the start of last season. How does it feel, both of you, knowing that we've got this competition right up the top of our own league that we kickstarted?
Yeah, it's incredible. We've built up a huge community here at FPL Addicts, and only starting last year, I think we started with 150 in the league, if I'm right in saying, Matt, at the when we launched last year, and obviously got behind it. But going to now, I think there's nearly 1,000 in that league, and some of the competition at the top. Obviously, a couple of latecomers are still coming in and joining this and showing us what they've got. But you know, a couple of shout outs to ones who are quite regular in our Discord community, even better. Max Spillett, who's Crypto Bingo in our Discord. And obviously you got Donald there in 5th position with no cane, no gain. So it's good to have them representing, but we'd love to see the likes of Shane, Billy, and Joseph come in the Discord and try and help everyone else out. I noticed Shane's there used every single chip as well, just quietly, to try and get them points up. Thanks to the FPL game tools there. But yeah, Joseph with a huge 674 points overall, unbelievable. So yeah, what's his team looking like, Ol?
Whose team?
Joseph Alvarez. Who's he got in there?
Let's have a look. Ask and you shall receive, as they say. 113 points this week. Started Tino Livramento. Great points in defence. And again, it's that midfield, isn't it? Mount and Salah. And also had Michael Antonio as well, who was up there also. So very, very good team that up the top of the league. So, it's one of those. I know
he's a Spurs fan as well, Ollie.
Oh, here we go.
Mate.
He wins, he can, this lad.
Yeah, you're saying all these Spurs fans, they're all better managers than you make at the moment. You need to be the best Spurs fan in the league, and you're being upstaged.
Mate,
but
as long as they're doing it for the club and they're doing it in the FPL Addicts leagues, that's all that matters.
It's the only thing anything to do with Spurs winning this season if Joseph can take out the league title. But obviously Shane has got his free hit remaining, which might be an issue. That's the only chip he's got left, so you might have to manage that a little bit better as well. Something else that we're absolutely loving is the women's league. The amount of participation we're getting in this is unbelievable. It's just showing that FPL is a game for absolutely everyone. No matter who you are, you can play this game. It's brilliant to see. And again, the competition is absolutely top quality. I mean, there's a fair gap there. Mayer's opened up away from Precista in second there. 666 points, 3.3k overall rank. Absolutely brilliant. We've got Karen Spence rounding out the top 3 there as well with Hungry for More FPL, who's in 4th, who's on absolutely every single podcast that we do. So that top 4 is not too bad, but shout out to Mayer there, top 1, Harry Kane. Spurs fan as well, Matt?
You know what? I'm not too sure. You'd hope so with that name, Harry Kane Gilbert, but I do have a feeling Mayer might be a Man United fan.
I think she's got to be Man United, hasn't she?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Representing. Fan, yeah. We need someone in the top half or something.
Should get her in the Manchester United hot seat because probably do a better job than Ollie at the minute with a team like that. But my days, that's an amazing team and a good effort. Only used the one chip as well, so it's great to see her at the top of the league and showing everyone else how it is done. Obviously, it'd be great to get as much participation in that as we can. But the numbers we've got at the moment are absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you to everyone that has joined that. In terms of our bonus bank,
well, looks like Ollie's frozen there. I think he's going to go onto our bonus bank one. I might be able to quickly bring it up unless he comes back in. But yeah, the bonus bank league is obviously hotting up. It's good competition. This is the head-to-head league. Whoever wins this does claim a year's subscription to Bonus Bank, which is worth 450 Aussie dollars. So I'll just bring up this one now on here. Let's have a look. And would you believe it, Donald is also winning this competition as well currently. He is absolutely ruthless in terms of his how he's working this. So top work, Donald. He's actually joining us in the studio in the background at the minute. But Donald, you can just hang around in there, mate. Don't panic. Whereas I can't find this share screen button at the moment. But here we go. Ollie's still frozen. I'll remove him in there. Always happens when you're live, eh? So,
especially the Ollie Walker appeal as well. He loves a mute, doesn't he?
And now he does love a mute. You're right. He's actually nailed it again, hasn't he? Hat-trick hero and everything.
He's not paying them hamsters enough money, is he, for to get his Wi-Fi sorted out? So
no, that's it, isn't it? So if you just look there, Donald, who's going to be joining us very shortly in the studio, he is first place in the Bonus Bank League. Aaron Wu's second in there, Ali in third, or Spike in fourth, and our very own Elliot Craig in fifth position there. He's won 7 games, not too far off the pace. Guru, do you think you're going to make any moves in there anytime soon?
It's a lot trickier this head-to-head because I find, similar to draft, it's just who you get on that given week. It's a lot more difficult. Look, I think I've climbed a few places. I've managed to get the green arrow there into around 13th. I was sitting in the mid-20s a couple of weeks back. So, yeah, maybe we'll see. But there's some strong competition at the top. And, Donald's on absolute fire at the moment. So it's going to be hard to get close to him for a while.
Yeah, that's it. So you can see, obviously, Ollie's joined us back in the studio now, but he's sitting in 14th there, just underneath you there, Matt. Chris Reed in 10th, who's just obviously he's a bit further off the pace than Elliot Craig. But yeah, really exciting, the Bonus Bank League. So we're looking forward to how that shapes up in the next couple of weeks. But Ollie, you all good now, mate?
Yeah, what is it with FPL Addicts hosts having really bad internet? Obviously, me and Elliot both got absolutely woeful internet, so I do apologise for dropping out there. Should be okay for the rest of the podcast, but of course, as Reedy says, I do need to be paying those hamsters a little bit more to just keep running because my internet has been absolutely woeful. But we do move on, of course. We've gone through the head-to-head league. Cheers, Jack, for stepping in. The interim host has done a top job as usual when called upon. We've got the podcast mini league, as you can see there, and we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to start with Statman Dave. Very brief. He's not even here to join us tonight. Not a horrendous week from Statman though, Jack.
Yeah, he obviously came alive last week after a couple of weeks in hibernation. He hadn't had the best start, so he's got a bit of catching up to do now. But I think with his his recent hauls, he's going to the only way is up for Statman. So yeah, every credit. He got his captain right. Obviously, during I think up to game week 7, he didn't have Mo Salah, so he's finally sorted that out, and we know how much he delivers and carries everyone's teams really in FPL. So he's got that nailed.
Yeah, he's done a brilliant job there, and he's also got a smattering of points elsewhere. Aaron Cresswell, great pick with 12 points. You've got Antonio with 7, Demario Grove 5, and then there's nothing really much elsewhere. But a good week for Statman Dave, who sadly isn't here to join us tonight, so I'm sure that he'll be happy watching on from afar, hearing that. Also not with us tonight is Elliot Craig, so the two absentees of the podcast tonight, propping up the league. Elliot was really fuming with his decision to captain Jamie Vardy, which we've talked about how there was merits to captain Vardy, merits to captain Havertz, but if you didn't captain Salah or Mason Mount or Foden, you probably had a bad week. And Elliot's not had a great one with captain Vardy there. But outside of that, Matt, there's still some decent points elsewhere.
Yeah, look, he's got some good points at the back there. Alexander Arnold, Livramento, Chilwell. So he's got that right, but Elliot Craig, you've disappointed me by not going Salah. I don't know what that week off the pod's done to you. All he talks about is the Egyptian king, the FPL king, and yeah, what's he done there? He's had an absolute nightmare with Vardy. That we couldn't have predicted the 2 points, in the injury. But come on, Elliot, you're better than that.
Yeah, he was fuming. We've talked about it all week, so we probably don't need to give him any more flack there. But it is a shame. But I'm sure he'll bounce back, of course. He did say to Pizza Boy on the Discord that he was going to captain Ben Chilwell, and then decided not to do it. So didn't even back himself in. So a couple of bad decisions there in the end. But I suppose it happens to the best of us. As always, we've got a couple of questions in the comments, which I suppose we'll get to in a little moment. One from Quentin that I particularly don't like the look of, but we'll bring that up in a quick moment after we run through our teams. And to just go next, we'll move to third place in our league, or fourth place, I should say, which is Jack Gillibrand. 95 points. Again, not a bad week from you there, mate, but just talk us through your decisions this week.
I know. Listen, when you hit 95 and you say it's not bad, it's quite tough to take that, isn't it? Compared when people are getting 3-digit hauls. So it's difficult because I know you're bouncing around with your 96 because you had a 4-point hit on your 100. So let's not forget that as well, all right? But it was, listen... I'll take it all good. But yeah, listen, good week. Happy with that. Obviously got the captain right, which for a start. Livramento jumping in there with the 9. Alexander Arnold with 10. I think he hit the crossbar towards the end. I think, Matt, you were telling me that, weren't you? So obviously I stopped watching the second half. So if he'd got that goal, obviously it would have made it a bit sweeter, I guess. But it would have been nice to do. Grealish, obviously I brought him in last week. Didn't pick Foden. Other people were picking Bernardo Silva or Mahrez or whichever, but I went Grealish. He got me in the 6, so he was all right. Diaz, obviously, a bit of a letdown with Brighton getting that goal against them, not keeping that clean sheet, so disappointing. But if you scroll down a bit more, Ollie, I've got Hwang and Jesus in there as well. Hwang got that goal, which was great, and then Jesus got the assist. I think Jesus was celebrating at one point because it was a bit of a slight deflection, wasn't it? But Vardy disappointed in there. But all round, happy with the team. Got me that 95, and I'm pretty excited going into this game week as well with the fixtures that are on with Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. Aspi is on the bench. I know he's got a flag over him at the moment, so be interested to see what happens. But all round, buzzing with the 95. It's the only thing that picked me up after that horrendous result. So
Yeah, at least you got something to hang your hat on, mate. There's a decent team there. Probably saying that it wasn't a bad week is probably a little bit harsh. You've absolutely walloped the average. But, you know...
I think going on last week as well, Ollie, we went, obviously we were arguing about, or you were giving me a bit about putting the armband on Salah, but I did say it's a bit of a win-win situation because I knew he'd destroy United, but I had to put the armband on him to cover myself, didn't I? So it was a bit of a win-win, kind of,
fair.
in FPL, but not in football. Obviously, I'm still hurting a lot.
Surely it's a lose-lose because the team's got walloped and Salah's got a hat-trick. Well, it's a win-lose, isn't it, really? But, you know, we don't need to get into on the technicalities. United got battered and everyone who's not a United fan is absolutely buzzing to see it. But I suppose we'll move on. Unfortunately for you, Jack, we're going to move on to a Liverpool fan, which means we're going to have to talk about that game a little bit more. Reedy did raise the bat, kind of. He's got the 8-point hit there as well, which brings him down to 92, but we'll let him have the moment. And again, Reedy, it's that man Salah.
That man Mo Salah. But I find it hard to bring any more words to it, to his levels and his sort of expectations of himself, really. You know, I don't know if you guys seen that Cycling GK video where he's basically saying that Mo Salah at the end of the game, in the Watford game, came up to Ben Foster and he asked him if he'd have got a penalty, you know, which side would he have gone, which is unbelievable, really. The guy, he's just an absolute pleasure to have at our club, and he's just getting better and better. I mean, captain, 48 points. There's a standout in there. It sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? And it's brilliant to see. Everything else around, Rudiger, brilliant to see him back and getting the clean sheet and even getting an assist from the penalty. Lewis Dunk, he came in because I had Alonso, who's out of favour, and Chilwell's just absolutely smashing it. What can you say? So we didn't get anything for Dunk. And Ben White, he's been a bit hit and miss, hasn't he? But Phil Foden, I brought him in a couple of game weeks ago or game week before. He's looking everything that you want him to at that age. He's like a kid in a sweet shop. He's just having fun, isn't he? What can you say? Gray got me an assist for Everton, although they were abysmal, in that latter stages of that game. And I want to really I want to point to a pick that I was influenced by on Twitter, and it's that man Brozier for Southampton. Now, I've had Adam Armstrong in for Saints, and I kept my faith in him for probably a bit too long. I mean, he was someone that he never really started anyway for me that much, but I brought Brozier in. I took a hit this week, as you could see, the -8. Surprise, shock. Another hit. Jesus came in, Brozier came in, and I think that was it. Was it? Possibly. Son, I think I'd already made that on the back of the Mahrez transfer last week. So Jesus got me 5, but Brozier got the 8. So I can't complain. I don't want to harp on too much because I'm rubbing salt in the wounds for Jack now, aren't I? You know, he's probably thinking he's getting too much airtime, this little so-and-so. So yeah, loving life.
About to cut you off. You've got 5, 4, 3.
Loving life. And I made up, you know, for whether you're a fancy manager that captained Salah or you didn't, you were just unlucky this week, because that's all it comes down to. It's just luck. You know, a lot of people had above the average, or most people had above the average. So it was just a fantastic week all around.
Yeah, just quickly, I just want to touch on that Brozier pick as well. He obviously didn't play this morning against his former club Chelsea due to injury. Are you a bit worried about that flag on him?
Yeah, as you can see, he's got a flag there. It's apparently, I think it might be an ankle injury, but we've got to wait for conferences. That's not going to matter anyway, and I'll tell you why in a bit. But I've got Vardy, Brozier, you know, White with injuries there. So yeah, it's probably unlikely he'll play, but things could change.
Yeah, they definitely could. In terms of my team, again, I'm another one who sort of raised the bat there. 96 points. I was actually fuming with this. I was happy with the score, obviously, but disappointed that, you know, the hit meant nothing and I could have had 100 points. But it is what it is. It's still a very good week. Can't complain too much. That defence is just unbelievable. And if not for a Callum Wilson screamer, I would have had contributions all around in that back four. But, I mean, you can't really complain too much with that goal. Again, Salah, we've talked about him too much, so, you know, we're not really going to say the same things. Mikel Antonio was planning on transferring him out this week, but with his goal and injuries to multiple strikers, I'm not going to bother just yet. It was actually a really clever finish from Antonio. Obviously from the corner, got in front of Harry Kane and just tapped it home. And obviously a really, really cool celebration on the end of that as well. I think he's the best celebrator in the league at the moment, which I'm sure West Ham fans will take as a trophy. But that team, I'm really happy with it. I've already made my transfer for this week, which we'll get onto in a moment. I'm happy with the squad. But obviously always looking to improve and looking to take green arrows. I know we were saying a few weeks ago how I was only taking one green arrow out of all these leagues. Look at all that green. Look at all that green. It's brilliant. I'll absolutely love it. But we'll take that, move on. Decent week. And yeah, we've got to move forward. We can't dwell on it too much. We've got another game week to go on to next week. But Matt, obviously you are the only one to really technically raise the bat this week. 104 points. Obviously, we don't know if you've done it on the YouTube yet. We're one subscriber away, as we said beforehand, but you've definitely done it in FPL, so no one can take that one away from you. Well done, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Ollie. And yeah, look, I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect 104 this week. My team was a bit underwhelming in some areas. Obviously, I've still got that bit of that Wolves problem in there. But yeah, can't complain with that. Yeah, massive score. But I can thank Mo Salah for most of that, and also little Phil Foden, who he's been a great pick since I've had him in for the last 2 game weeks. He was my earliest transfer in history of FPL I've ever made. I did it before the international break, and yeah, I'm buzzing I've got him in there now. I think Reedy's got him in there as well. So we've beat the price rises and we've got him in ahead of the curve. So really happy with that one.
Yeah, it's a great team you've got there as well. So you should be absolutely buzzing. Thought I had you on 99 subscribers. You're on 97. We need to get into 100 by the end of this podcast anyway. So if you haven't subscribed to the community yet, make sure you go and do so. We're trying to hit that 3-figure mark by the end of the podcast, which would be absolutely brilliant just to go with what you've said. But got a question here from Rory Gorman saying, Chris, lad, how many hits have you taken this year? Go on, approximate. It's going to be, you can't be counting, but approximate.
I've taken -8 in the last 3 weeks, so there's six hits, I suppose, or 3 if you want to look at it from a game week perspective.
You've definitely taken a -4 in there as well, Reedy. You love it. I'm just looking on your team, mate. I think me, Ollie, the Guru, we've all taken I think 7 transfers. I've taken 9. You've had 17 transfers since the start of the season.
There we go. There's the stats. So I have taken quite a few more than maybe you guys, but look at where I am in terms of positioning. I could be higher, don't get me wrong, overall rank and all the rest of it. I could be higher, but I'm having fun with the game. And for me, from a personal perspective, that's what it's all about. And it's all calculated risks, of course. I'm taking those risks for a reason. And I've managed to do pretty well in regards to my score the last 3 game weeks. So I am trying my best to not take the hits, and I have got a plan for the next 2 game weeks before the international break, which I'll let you know in a bit. But yeah, Hitman is still very much here for now.
Well, I mean, you say you've got a plan. We're going to move on to that part of the podcast now. Transfers and captains. So, Reedy, we will start with you, mate. If you've got a plan, let the cat out of the bag, mate. What's it for this week?
It is the wild card, boys. It is the wild card. Activation.
The wild card klaxon.
The activation has been made. Yeah, the activation's been made. So I just felt it was the right time. I'm really excited with this wild card. I'm not sort of not a bandwagon as such, because we had the Lukaku injury and we had everyone then going, right, I've had to wild card. We've had a few people earlier on in the season with the game weeks who've wanted to change things up a bit. The Guru being one of those, and it worked out for him. And I just think it's the right time. Like I say, you know what, as well, you look at these injuries that have now come in as well. The likes of Vardy, Ben White, who are in my team, and that one Brozier that you mentioned. So I just look at them fixtures and I just look at the plan that I've got in place. Chelsea against Newcastle, City against Palace, Liverpool v Brighton. And I'm hoping I can stay strong and roll over for 2 game weeks. 2. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But that is the plan. 2 rollovers. There we go. -36. Oof, just think where it could be. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to sort of, sit here and whinge about it too much. I'm just going to look forward to...
Are we going to hear what this team is?
You
What
want
are you
to?
talking-
Look.
Tells your team.
Hey, what he's like that now. He's thinking,
What are we doing? What are we discussing here? You
All right.
Tells your team.
Let's go.
Come on.
Okay. Right. So this isn't final, as you know. Wildcards aren't always set, but at the moment, I have had to switch it up and take Raya out with that injury news. That was going to be the guy I had in net, which did save me quite a bit of money in the bank. I think about 2 odd mil, but now I've got 0.7 because I've put Allison in. That is just the tempting while I can look for potentially something, someone better. Cancelo is in there. Trent is in there. Chilwell is in there. What more can I say? Salah, who's going to be my captain. I'm not going to hide that because, again, we're at home against Brighton. Foden's in there still. So the players that have kept hold of are Salah and Foden from the previous team. Mount is in there, but there is a little bit of not a doubt as such, but, I know it was Norwich. I'm not soft. He did play against the team, the whipping boys of this season. So he's in there for now. Hudson-Odoi, I've brought him in, but I don't like that one in the sense that I feel like he's not going to be in my team for the long run. So that might be a short pick. And then you've got Hwang, Jesus, and Antonio. My bench is looking okay, pretty decent. I've got Foster in net, Smith Rowe, Livramento, and Manquillo, which leaves me 0.7 currently in the bank. So what can I say? I just think it's a brilliant team, and I'm probably going to make 1 or 2 changes, but the majority of them there are pretty much set, especially that defence.
I tell you what, I wouldn't be tinkering with that team too much because that team sounds good. Full squad, decent, really, really good defence. Not too many forwards that are currently fit anyway. They're all out injured, so to go light up forward isn't a bad option. But really, I really do like that team. Especially you don't have to hide the fact that Salah's your captain because he's the best player not only in the league at the moment but in the world, in my opinion. So a great shout going with him there. Let us know in the comments what you think of Reedy's wildcard team, and you can give him all the advice or opinions that he may want. A few point chasers, says Rubber Ducky, the GOAT of FPL Twitter Spaces. Callum Hudson-Odoi is apparently a strange pick, which I tend to agree with, to be honest. I mean, he did play well. I'd probably wait a couple of weeks, just because if you can put up consistent scores, it's a really good differential and also cheap. But is he reliable? Are we trusting him too much on 1 week? Potentially. So that's one I'd think about. But if it works for you, then it works for you. And obviously, you've got Smith Rowe on the bench who looks nailed on at Arsenal. So you can always bring him on in that case anyway and bench Hudson-Odoi if you need. But we will move on to everyone else at the moment. Jack, what are your plans for the week?
At the minute, just with these flags over, I think we've got 4 players with flags on. One's probably Vardy and Aspi. So them two. I've got to wait for press conferences. Can't move yet. Just got to wait for these ones, and then I'll react from there. It might include a hit somewhere, or maybe load up a bit more in the midfield if I have to take Vardy out, or could just roll over, which would be lovely.
Well, definitely you could roll over. I'm a little bit worried about that Vardy one myself if we get onto my team in a moment. But the flags have absolutely ruined everyone this week. But hopefully the press conference can sort those all out. But, rolling over, doing the old Elliot Craig strategy might be one that might work for you. So I'll have to see if that eventuates. For me, I've already made 1 transfer. I thought that Phil Foden was going to have a price rise, and I was a bit worried that Said Benrahma could fall, and I had 0.2 million in the bank, so I wanted to make sure I got that one done early. Phil Foden looks in really good form. I haven't had a Man City asset all season. I feel like I want one just because at the moment they're one of the best teams in the league, and to go without them just seems crazy. Foden seems nailed at the moment, so I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a real risk with Foden. I don't think it's that much of a risk. It is a risk, but only a little one. So we're going to take it. Rafinha's apparently fit, so that might help out some managers. Elliot says he's rolling over. I've just said it's the Elliot Craig strategy. It shouldn't even be called rolling over. It should just be called Craiging at this point or something like that, because that's all he ever does. But it seems to work for him usually, not this season. But yeah, it may as well. Craiging over, why not? It's not working for him this season. Because this season he's doing absolutely nothing, but everything else, every other season it's worked out all right for him. But the old rolling over strategy doesn't work out too well for some and works out for others. So there you go. But I've gone from Benrahma to Foden. I might have to take a hit to get rid of Vardy. I don't really want to do that, so I don't really want to put him on my bench either. So we're going to wait and see on Vardy is basically my plan. But and I'll be captain Salah. So Matt, what about you? Any transfers you've made, or are you doing the old Elliot strategy as well?
So for those that have tuned into the team selection, they'll know who the transfers are this week or who they're going to be. Look, right now I've actually it's not actually made them. I'm waiting till the press conferences. There's too many flags on players this week. I think You can't do your transfers now. Someone like Foden's different. He didn't play in the League Cup. He's not got a flag, but I think there's a lot of people that just wait for press conferences this week. There's too many flags. Be patient and take your time this week.
Yeah, it's definitely a good strategy, especially with all the hits that are there, all the flags that are there. I think there's a lot of injuries, so it's probably nice just to wait and just see what the damage is, especially with the press conferences. So we will have to wait and see. But there are our teams, our plans, and our captains for next week. So now we're going to move on to the guest section, and we have got one of the best managers this season come out of absolutely nowhere, but is leading the pay league at the moment. It's Donald Breslin, pardon me, I should say, on the Central Coast. How you doing, mate?
Pretty good, Ollie. Good to be with you guys. Pleasure to chat FPL.
It's great to have you as well. First appearance on the podcast for you. Hopefully it is the first of any. But if you have a look down at the questions at the moment, could you just debrief us on your season so far, Donnell? Game week 1 to 9. How are you tracking this year compared to last year? I imagine you're doing pretty well this year compared to last year because just the barnstorming start you've had. If you replicated that last season, then you're really a manager we should have expected to do so well. And as well as that, what are your expectations for this season?
Well, I'm probably going to surprise you here, Ollie, is that I'm doing pretty solid, as you can see there now at 6,350 and got 6 green arrows, but actually tracking quite similar to last year. I got inside the top 10K around this time last year, bounced around there for almost the entire season. In fact, it might have been a little bit outside it up until game week 33 when Chris Woods banged a hat-trick and I got inside the top 2K. Probably played it a bit too smart in the last few games. Took a couple of hits. One memorable one is Ederson got benched for Carson, the only appearance he had for the year. So lost out on a clean sheet on that occasion. And then there was like some crazy fumble at the last few minutes of one of the games. So ended up coming outside the 5K and finished on 5,029, which sucks because you really want to be inside that top 5K. So that's what I'm determined to do this year.
So you're going even worse than last season, which I suppose is a warning sign for FPL managers that you've still got another level to go to. So to say you've already had an amazing start and you've got another level is crazy. So fair play to you for being consistent in that regard. Probably the best manager that we've got this season, and with that sort of form, you can see why. Just to see how well you've done this season has been absolutely brilliant, of course. But moving on ever so slightly, if we may, we said you've played your wild card in game week 9, so last week. How did you get on, and how long have you planned for?
Well, I got an 86, which ordinarily would be a good score, but I think we can all say game week 9 was anything but ordinary. It was 24 points above the average and still got a red arrow. If I actually hadn't have played the wild card and benched Lukaku, just say I didn't realize the game week deadline was on Friday, I probably would have had about 95. So I can't complain though. I made the decision on the information I had available to me. Once Lukaku got injured, I had to react. I've been looking at it for a few weeks, but I was comfortable with my team. I had plans what I was going to do for the next few game weeks, but once I had all that money in the bank, I thought now's the time to spread it through the team. So I really feel like I'm set up well for the next few weeks. Don't have any major plans of what I need to do other than the man Foden. He's the only guy I'm looking at that I think I need to bring in.
Definitely one that you should probably bring in, and one that I brought in. So if there's anyone that I would advise, that's not a bad option whatsoever. He's going really well at the moment, so he'd be one I'd be looking at. But otherwise, a decent team.
All right, Dalal, good to see you, mate. Good to see your face, or put a face to a name. Welcome to the pod, and you're absolutely killing it. What can we say? Setting the bar this high and even more so. So basically, a couple of questions for you. Aside from Salah, of course, he's been the best asset to own. Are you, in terms of will these be carrying forward too? So, like, say for example, you've got Salah, he's the go-to captain and all the rest of it. Who've been the best assets for you basically to own to get you where you are now? Will these be the ones that carry you forward as well?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the essential pick other than Salah is Trent. If I'm sure there's not too many complete newbies to the show or to FPL watching the show tonight, but if you don't have Trent in your team, get him. This guy is essential, and that has to be used sparingly, that word. But if you don't have him, this is a guy who's got routes to points, goals, assists, clean sheets. You have to have him. I don't think any player, or there'll be very few players that can do consistently well without him. If you don't have him in your team, you've got to hide behind the couch. Similar to Salah in that respect. For 7.5 mil or 7.6, whatever he is at the moment, it's value for money. If you don't know the game, you might look at a player like that and think, oh, that's really expensive. But this is a guy that consistently gets double-digit hauls. So I say Trent's a must. That's how I see it. Get him in your team.
Yeah, that's a brilliant shout, that, Donal. And as you alluded to there in regards to the price figure, what puts a lot of FPL managers off, if he is starting for Liverpool, he's pretty much playing as a midfielder half the time, and those double-digit hauls are going to really going to bump your score up and bump you up in the ranks. Havertz didn't hit against Norwich, as a lot of fancy managers unfortunately know. Is he staying in your team? Or should FPL managers do this? Should they do the same, and why? So they've got Newcastle next fixture. Should they potentially, if they haven't got him in, look at getting him in, or even keep him if they've also got him?
Yeah. So I'll speak about my own individual situation first, and I have been grappling with this after watching the games at the weekend. I think we can all say Havertz failed the eye test miserably. He didn't get in the box. He very often with many touches. When he did get touches where he was involved, he couldn't get the ball out of his feet. And I actually thought about it. I heard it on a couple of commentaries that Tuchel doesn't necessarily, even with Lukaku in the team, he wasn't the man at the end of things. And that does create a bit of concern for me that even against Newcastle, he might not be that man. He could be the target man, but he may not be the one who actually gets the points like we've seen at the weekend. And then you've got Foden on the other hand. I've been thinking about it for about 3-4 weeks now about bringing him in. You're always worried about the Pep roulette, but I think he's a guy we just got to get in our team. So whether I do it this week, you always like to bank a transfer after doing the wild card. But are we missing a trick? Is it just in front of us? Are we ignoring the obvious here that Foden is a better long-term pick? So I probably still will play him and stick with Havertz and hope that he can get on the end of things. But my brain is starting to tell me that Foden is the man to go to.
Yeah, it's certainly difficult with these fixtures that Chelsea have got because they are still really good fixtures on paper. So I think that one for you might end up going to the wire. But good luck either way.
Thanks, Chris.
Hi, Donal. It's the Guru here, and it's so good to finally meet you, mate. Obviously, we talk a lot on Twitter. We talk a lot on Discord. I love all your insights as well. So super keen to get some more off you. So you obviously mentioned Foden already. Is there another player or two on your watch list who you're looking at bringing in? And if so, why?
Well, straight up, I'm actually not. If you look at my team there, it goes against what we'd normally have for a formation. I actually don't like any strikers right now. I'm going for guys that I think have got good fixtures. I like Jimenez, but I'm not super excited. Tony's got amazing fixtures. I'm thinking he can finally start to bang in the next few, but it's not like I'm super excited. Then you got Broja, I've got in the team, looking good for the last couple of games, but it's not like I'm going to be bringing him in. I'm basically looking to spread the funds around. Salah is going to be an automatic captain right up until January in the African nations. So it doesn't make sense to have another premium if you're not going to captain them. So you want to spread it around. You want to get players that's likely to pick up some points. So other than Foden, I think I'm pretty set until, of course, somebody starts to bang in a striker. And then I'm going to need to bring some funds from either midfield or defense. Like Livramento sitting on the bench there, I should be probably playing him. I thought when I got Diaz, set and forget. he's sorted for the season. I don't need to think about him. Is he a premium that maybe I could do without? Possibly bring him down to another 4.2 or something player, get some funds into the striker position. But there's nobody up top at the moment that actually interests me.
I love your insights there, Dodie, and I think you make a great point there as well about Salah being your captain till January, going to the AFCON. I think those few weeks when he's away is going to really shake up FPL this season. But just on to another question, just a bit off topic. There's been a lot of issues in the last week in FPL dealing with people talking about mental health.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the wrong decisions and the stresses involved and that type of thing? So how do you deal with wrong decisions when if you do make them? Obviously, you've not made many wrong decisions this season, but how do you deal with those wrong decisions and and those bad game weeks?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily have the perfect answer to that. I think anybody who's watching this is taking FPL pretty serious. We wake up on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning. Obviously, Chris, you get to see these games probably live. But when we wake up, we reach for the phone. We want to see what happens. So we do matter what that outcome is. But we base decisions on the information that we've got. And just because an outcome doesn't work out the way that we predicted, doesn't mean that we should be upset. Variance is a part of the game, like the stock market or poker and so many other games. And we've got to live with that. And if you are somebody that perhaps suffers from stress and all kinds of anxiety impacts, there's ways to deal with that. And taking the dog for a walk and sport and things to just step away from it is the best advice I can give.
I love that, Dodie. You've put that so well. So thanks for such a well-spoken answer there. Last question from me. So you've been contributing a lot in our Discord channel. You're a paid member, free member, paid member. You're pretty much everywhere. You're in the Champions League as well. It's great. So what do you enjoy most about the FPL Addicts community?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this actually, and I played a lot of football and with various teams, and you get to talk FPL and have that banter in person. Worked in the office with plenty of expats, and we'd always follow FPL. When I was more, say, a casual, but over the last couple of years with COVID and all, and we're more at home and we're communicating with people digitally. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to engage with people down under on something I'm so passionate about. And I'm sure for many guys who are watching this, it's an outlet for them to be able to, share their enthusiasm for FPL and just have that banter as well along the way. So, it's a good outlet for sure.
Oh, that's so good to hear, Dodie. And look, keep up your good work. And I'm glad you're loving the community. That's excellent.
Yeah. Thanks,
it absolutely is. Don Allen, you've been brilliant on the podcast already. I just wanted to say on the back of your mental health point that, all of us are here, all of us at FPL Addicts, we've got all the Twitters on our screen. So myself at Ollie Walker Peel, Guru at FPL Addicts, the Guru, Chris Reed, Liverpool Guru, if you will, at FPL Addicts Reedy, and you've got Jack's Twitter up on the screen there as well at Esports Live now. All of us are here. If you need to talk to us about FPL, about life, about anything, we're always open. Twitter DM's always open. You're never a burden. So if you ever need to talk to us, feel free to send that message across and we'll help wherever we can. There's also obviously services like Are You OK if you're in Australia, Samaritans as well, back in England. So there are services that if you're not feeling so well and you feel comfortable to reach out to those people, go and do so, because it might be might be a way that you can help yourselves. But if you just want to talk to us, then all our Twitters are on the screen. You can message us any hour of the day, any time, and we'll get back to you. So I just wanted to mention that because I feel like mental health is really, really important and something that we all take very, very seriously, and it's way more important than FPL. So if you do need to take a break from FPL, you can always do that because you've got to prioritize your mental health because that's the most important thing. But Donald, back to you. You've got the opportunity now to ask one of us a question about FPL. Who's it for, and what's your question, mate?
Yeah, well, I suppose I've got to ask the Guru. I know that I'm not actually a big differential guy myself, but if you're going to win it, you're going to get in those big, we'll just say top 1K or my big termination this year to get inside the top 5K. Who should we be looking at?
From a differential perspective, or just anyone?
Yeah, the differential. I think the obvious ones, we're watching it every day. We've got a bit of an idea, but those ones, the hidden gems.
There's a few this season, isn't there? It's tough, I think, because I'd usually say obviously Livramento's already taken. He's an absolute gem. I think everyone already owns Livramento. But we're starting to see guys like Broha from Southampton, who's coming through at 5 million. I think Josh King's another one. It's about 5.6 now. If you can get those types of enablers in your side and give you some cash elsewhere to then have that premium defence to get the likes of Trent in, to get the likes of Chilwell in, I think you've got to look to those types of players. So I'll probably be looking at one of those budget forwards, either a Broha, a Josh King, maybe a Dennis. And then in midfield, if you can get an enabler like Smith Rowe, I think he's a bit of a hidden gem now all of a sudden. I know he's not someone that hits every week, but when he does get those hits, they seem to be double digits. He's got the 13-pointer in the previous game week. He had the one against Spurs as well, where he got into double figures. He's got a game against Watford in a couple of weeks. I can see him doing similar in there. So I think there's a couple of those types of assets, even someone like Saka when he starts to hit form. So I think there is hidden gems in and around a lot of these sides. And even people that not so much, a differential in terms of their price, but ownership, they are a Jadon Sancho, someone that's not quite come into form, but he will come into form. I think, once United start playing, the football properly, I guess, in a way, or they get it together. United are only going to get better from here. I don't think it can get any worse. It's either going to be with Ollie or without Ollie, and they are going to get better. They got a good run, and I do think someone like Sancho, everyone's dismissing him right now, obviously, because he's not getting any points. He's not getting any minutes, but I think he's someone that eventually, once he gets games, he's going to get the stats. We saw it in the Bundesliga what he's capable of. I think players like that, even a Harry Kane right now as well. Once they're all differentials right now. So there's obviously a lot to choose from. But I think Jadon Sancho's, Josh King's, Broha's, Emil Smith Rowe's, those types of players who all have quite low ownership and aren't really in too many teams are ones to watch.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff there, mate, Donald. But we've got a quick game just to round off. It's a bit of this or that. So you'll be given two choices. Got 30 seconds or just over. Got to pick between two options. So I'll run through it, and you just got to pick one. All good?
Yep, go ahead. Yep.
All right, let's go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Antonio Conte?
Conte.
Jesus or Antonio?
Jesus.
Kane or Ronaldo?
Kane.
Sanchez or Ramsdale?
Sanchez.
Chilwell or Alonso?
Chilwell.
Grealish or Foden?
Foden.
Broja or Hwang Hee-chan?
Chang.
Rudiger or Diaz?
Diaz.
And final one, Ben White or Shane Duffy?
Well, I would normally go Ben White, but he's injured, so I'm going to have to go Duffy.
Donald, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast this week. One of the great guests that we've had on, but you've been an absolute pleasure to have on, mate. Best of luck with the rest of your FPL season.
Pleasure, guys. Good talking to you. Take care.
So now we have got the Guru section with the Guru himself, Matty Day, the absolute legend. This is the information part of the podcast, which most people probably tune in for. And if you do, I do not blame you at all. Matty, take it away, my mate.
Thanks, Ollie. And just want to say again, great stuff. Donal, really enjoyed that. Great guest section there. And, all your comments were unbelievable. So we'll start off with the differentials here for game week 10. And the first one on my list is going to be Gelhardt from Leeds. I'm not sure if anyone on here caught the Leeds Wolves game the other day. It was a great game of football. And this young Leeds striker come off the bench. He was left-footed. It was absolutely phenomenal. He won the penalty at the end. He got the 4 points, 0.6% ownership. He's got Norwich away this week. Got rested in the League Cup. I think he's going to start this week. I think he's a massive differential. So we're talking then to Dodie about players to get ahead. This guy could be quite good in the interim, with Bamford out. So definitely one to look out for this weekend. In defence, I'm going to go with Andy Robertson from Liverpool, home to Brighton, 2.1% owned. I think he put in a great shift against Man United last week. Come out with the 6 points. I was unlucky not to get on the end of the cross that Jota put away. I saw Robertson was hanging in the edge of the box there. So I think he's a really good one this weekend. I'm expecting big points from Liverpool this week. And then my next one, I'm going to go with the man Josh King. So I mentioned him before. 1.4% owned. He's got Saints at home. He's I think he's 5.5 million right now. He got 16 points against Everton. And in the game, his influence is 8 out of 85 strikers right now. So really big on Josh King. And then my last one, I'm going to go with a Burnley asset. And I know Quinton from FPL Amateurs of Oz is going to love this one. It's going to be Cornet or Cornet, however you want to call him. The Burnley midfielder. He got 15 points out last time. He's looking good. He's got a smashing left foot. Really low ownership. I think it's below 1% right now. It's about 0.3%, I believe. So he's got to be in there this week.
Yeah, I was saying to my dad, actually, he doesn't watch Burnley anymore, but is a Burnley fan. He said he's going to be the man to keep Burnley up. Because I don't know where the goals are coming from otherwise, but, if I'm going to take my Rovers glasses off, he's been scoring a lot of goals and a lot of points. So if you're not a Rovers fan, he might be one that you could bring in. But moving on to your captains now, Matt, and you've actually got one of the players you've mentioned as a curveball. But what about your actual main captains? Who do you think?
Yeah, look, Salah's first on the list. And I really wouldn't look past him this week personally. That's my view. So he's top of the list. Second in line, I'm going to put Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. We've spoken about him a lot. He's an unbelievable player. He's pretty much a midfielder. In FPL, you're playing him as a defender, but he plays in midfield for Liverpool. That's how high up the pitch he is. So he's probably my next in line as a captain shout. And then my last one, it's going to be Phil Foden at home to Palace. Looking brilliant at the moment. Sharp, playing in the false 9. So I think he's another good captain shout as well.
Yeah, we're going to get onto your curveball. Obviously, as a Rovers fan, I'm going to hate this one, but go with it anyway.
It's going to be Cornet from Burnley. He's coming off the back of those couple of goals. He's got this home game against Brentford, which, it's on paper, you look at it and think it's tough with the way Burnley have been playing, which, hasn't been great. And the way Brentford have been playing this season, which has been pretty impressive, but they've got a big injury crisis. The like of Mbambo injured. Raya got the 4 months knee injury today. Pinnock's potentially going to be out as well. There's plenty of injuries there for Brentford. So I think he's a really good curveball 1 week sort of punt if you want to try something different this week.
Yeah, definitely one way that you could go. Obviously, with the Brentford, Brentford have, they've been decimated really, haven't they, with injury. I'm hoping that Brentford obviously get the job done because as a Rovers fan, you learn it's like you support Rovers and whoever's playing against Burnley, but could be a week for Burnley to maybe notch their first win of the season. Interesting to see how they get on. On to your 3 teams to back now, Guru. Who are you going with?
I think I'll back Man City against Palace. I think they'll win that one. Chelsea away to Newcastle. I think can't see Newcastle picking up their first win. So yeah, sorry, Elliot, it's got to be Chelsea. And then the third one, I'm gonna back. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 teams. So I'm gonna do a third and a fourth because I can't not do Liverpool against Brighton. Sorry, FPL Oz Spike, but I think Liverpool, are going to win that one. But enjoy your trip to Anfield anyway. And then the last one, I'm going to go Leeds at Norwich. I just can't see Leeds winning a game for a while this season, and I can't see them getting anything about that, especially now we've heard the Rafinha news.
And you've got 3 big fixtures, Guru, or are you just going to roll with the fixtures you've used in the teams to back?
I think we'll roll with those. I think if we're going to pick one, for FPL assets that I think is quite big this weekend, it's got to be the Spurs v United game. You got Ronaldo, Harry Kane, Son, Bruno. They've all been big FPL assets at times this season. They're very high priced. There's a lot of people still holding on to a lot of these players. With a glimmer of hope. I'm one of them with Ronaldo. So I think that's a big FPL one, and it's obviously going to be big for me and Jack. But I hate saying this, but a bit of me is kind of like I'm not too bothered if we lose because I think I'm on the Nuno out brigade.
This was the question I hinted at before. I think I know the Guru's answer. It's from Quentin. Was on his podcast, a couple of weeks ago or a week ago now. Absolutely top lad and runs a good podcast as well. So FPL Amateurs of Oz, top people down there. him and FPL West Ham. So you've got, hey fellas, would you go Saka to Cornet or Saka to Tielemans? Regrettably, Guru, I think I know your answer here.
You know what? This week I'd say Cornet. Last week it would have been Tielemans, sorry, because he was actually one of my differentials as well, and he bagged the absolute screamer. But he's been carrying a bit of a knock. He's been a bit of an injury threat. So yeah, sorry, Ollie. Cornet for sure. This week.
There you go. Well, that ends the Guru section. Brilliant Guru section as always, other than all the Maxwell Cornet shout-outs. But good stuff again, Guru. Thanks again. And that will wrap us up for the Game Week 10 preview podcast. It's absolutely flown by this just over an hour, but it's been an absolute pleasure to bring this one to you. Make sure that we do have everyone tuning into all of the content we've got this week, the hot tip stuff and everything else we've got for Game Week 10. We've got the watch along on Saturday as well. Just a quick note that this is our last Wednesday night preview pod. Next week we will be moving to Thursdays because Melbourne is back open and that works for the best of us if it's all on Thursday now. Jack's going to be too busy just celebrating on Wednesday nights now, apparently. He'll be getting out on the session with all the other FPL lads he knows off Twitter.
It's the hump day of the week, mate. Come on.
Oh, aye. Defo. If I was old enough to drink, maybe I'd be doing the same. But I won't be. But that's a story for another day, I suppose. But keep an eye out for the FPL Addicts YouTube channel in the coming days for all the content coming up. Make sure you do subscribe. We're trying to get the Guru to 100 subscribers. How he's not got there yet, I do not know. But make sure to keep following us, and we'll get all that content out to you. Stay safe. Take care. Hope all your FPL dreams come true. And bye for now.